Need something to wear to the Barbie premiere? Wait, I'm a little late for that. Or maybe you need something cute to wear for the trilogy tour. No, that also already happened, and Melanie never came to my city. Or maybe you need something to wear for this upcoming Valentine's Day. A little early for that. Need a cute skirt to wear? You should try wearing this cap, but I don't think she likes that. Or you can crochet this skirt. For this tutorial, you need a ball of yarn, a crochet hook, an emotional support cat, screaming children in the neighborhood in the background to haunt you, a lot of time and patience, and these 2 stitch markers. Start by making a slip knot and chaining the length you want your skirt to be. This chain will control how long the skirt will be, and every row we make after this will focus on widening the skirt. The only way to tell if your chain is long enough is to put the chain up against your body, make sure it's a good length, do a little spin, make sure it covers your butt, but only if you want it to. There's no judgment here. I mean, who doesn't love a good miniskirt? Maybe unless if you're a nun, but if you are a nun, you can chain the chain to hit the floor and this pattern will still work for you. Aren't I so inclusive? Once you find a length that is adequate, you will want to fold your chain into 3 parts like this. Pinch out a little more than a third from the end, which is indicated by this lovely blue arrow, and then insert your first stitch marker here. And for some reason this takes me a really long time, so bear with me. Then starting at where the stitch marker is, you're going to count 6 stitches and insert your second stitch marker into the 6th stitch. Why? Well, let's see what non-voiceover me has to offer. In this first part here, we're going to make half double crochet. Then when we get to this first stitch marker, we're going to insert 6 double crochet. Finally, at this last stitch marker will be all treble crochet. What a great little pattern breakdown. Anyways, we'll be half double crocheting until the first stitch marker, like I said. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Eventually this half double crochet will make up the waist portion of your skirt. While we're waiting, let's hear some interesting facts about skirts that I found from this website. Number 1. A skirt is usually made of a single piece of cloth. In recent times, skirts are usually made of light to mid-weight fabrics. Okay, maybe there aren't really any interesting facts about skirts. The first skirt was discovered in a cave and was made out of straw, which I guess is slightly more interesting. Now finishing up the half double crochets, and we've encountered our first stitch marker. So you'll want to take it out, and right where it was, you're going to insert double crochet from this point to the other stitch marker. To make a double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops again. Then reinsert your stitch marker back into this point. Continue double crochets until you reach the other stitch marker. The point of the double crochet is to help taper off the skirt to be wider, which works because the double crochet is a lot longer than the half double crochet. When you get to the next stitch marker, you're going to do the same as before, take it out and insert a double crochet. So every time there is a stitch marker in this project, we will be replacing it with a double crochet. But make sure you put your stitch marker back afterwards. For the remainder of this row, we will be working treble crochet. Yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again, and then yarn over and pull through 2 once more. Maybe I should just make up my own facts about skirts because these all suck. They're terrible. And if I do lie, how are you gonna know? Are you gonna fact check me? I don't think so. And even if you do, do you know how many people think the moon landing isn't real? I can say anything I want, and there's probably gonna be one person that's gonna believe me. How people think that Avril Lavigne was secretly killed and then replaced with a twin doppelganger. Okay, I'm ready to feel the conspiracy theory community. So if I say that skirts became popular because Leslie Hall was found emerging out of a volcano, and the only thing left on her body was this metal skirt, and then people were just so inspired and everyone started wearing them, I want you to believe me, okay? I was there. It happened. And that's how the mini skirt rose to fame. But what I can tell you for certain is once you finish this skirt and put it on, you're gonna eat that shit up, okay? You're gonna serve like no one has served before. So get ready and you're welcome for this pattern. Okay, really quick, what I was supposed to tell you was the treble crochet in this project is responsible for creating the ruffles on the skirt. So the treble crochet is essentially a giant increase because this stitch is so much longer than the half double crochet. So as you work more rows and eventually join the skirt together in the back, the extra length of these treble crochets will have nowhere to go and will bunch up into little ruffles. Now to start the next row, chain 3 and flip your work. This counts as your first treble crochet. Then keep treble crocheting again until you reach your first stitch marker. Once again, when you reach the stitch marker, take it out and replace it with a double crochet. Reinsert the stitch marker and double crochet into the next one. Each stitch does have a different appearance, so if you're able to differentiate which stitch is which, you don't need the stitch marker. But sometimes I just find myself mindlessly crocheting and lose track of where to put certain stitches, so if you're the same, these markers can be helpful. Replace the next stitch marker with a double crochet and then half double crochet until the end of the row. Now for the rest of this project, you're going to repeat these 2 rows over and over again until the skirt fits around your waist. So you're just going back and forth.
But if you've got abandonment issues and want me to keep gracing you with my presence, don't worry,
because I'm here for the next row too. For the next row, we're chaining 2 and we're doing the same thing as before. We're half double crocheting until the next stitch marker. Replace your stitch markers with double crochet as precedented, and then keep double crocheting until the next stitch marker where you're going to take it out and insert another double crochet. Treble crochet until the end and it's the same, except if you're confused on where to put the last treble crochet, you're going to act as if that chain 3 at the beginning of the last round was a treble crochet and just put it on top of there. As I previously commanded, we're just going to be crocheting between these 2 rows back and forth, and it's pretty simple. This will take you ages though. Expect to not see or talk to your family or friends or teachers or co-workers or anyone for the next week at least. But here's a nice jump cut of my progress. Welcome back, welcome back. At this point you probably finished the skirt or you're just watching because you really like me, and either way I'm flattered. So now it's time to stitch this skirt together, which we'll do by using single crochet. You're going to want to insert your hook into this loop and then stab it through the other side and then pull up a loop and yarn over and make a single crochet. Then flip it over and insert your hook into the top V of your treble crochet or half double crochet, does not matter which side you end up on. And then go to the back and find the corresponding stitch number. Insert your hook through the V. Then you're going to make a single crochet by yarning over, pulling up a loop. And then yarning over and pulling through the other 2 loops on your hook. So stick your hook through the tip of the next stitch. Then go to the other side and do the same. And make sure when you pull up a loop here, you're pulling through both sides. Then complete by making a single crochet. And you're going to do this for the entirety of the back. It does not matter whether it's double crochet or half double crochet or treble crochet, it is all the same. Now fasten off your project, preferably with some scissors, but I did not have any scissors on me or any sharp utensils, so I tried tearing the yarn apart with a bobby pin and that didn't work. And then, oh my god, I got animalistic, just tore it apart with my hands. Okay, well, and then you're gonna flip it over and get rid of that ugly back seam, and then look, wow, look how nice and clean and pretty. And hey, that's a skirt. At this point, this is what my skirt was looking like, and it was cute, but I wanted it to be a little more ruffly. I wanted it to look like if Jigglypuff had gotten possessed and turned into a skirt somehow. Now we're adding ruffles at the bottom. To add the ruffles, insert your hook into the tip of the back seam and pull up some yarn. Chain 3. And then underneath every single one of these treble crochets, you're gonna work 7 more treble crochets. So you're kind of acting like this is just its own stitch, but because it's kind of wide, if we want it to get ruffled up, we have to add a lot of treble crochets, so we add 7. And in the clip, I only add 5, and that's because the UPS man came and I got scared and ran inside, and then I didn't come back out because I was scared more delivery drivers would come. But hey, props to me for crocheting outside. And eventually, your ruffles will start to bunch up like this and become super pretty. Here's what the ruffles will look like when you're all done, and then to finish them, you just slip stitch to the last ruffle you made. fasten off your project, and hey, I got something sharp this time. Now just to slightly clean up the waistband, we're going to insert a row of half double crochet. Locate your back seam and insert your hook there. Pull up a loop of yarn and then chain 2. Now half double crochet along the end. There aren't really any clean stitches there, so you're kind of just blindly stabbing, but try to blindly stab as evenly as you can. And don't stab any people, just crochet, okay? By the way, as I was looking for sound bites of Jigglypuff, I found the song that Jigglypuff sings. And if you don't know, Jigglypuff is a Pokemon that kills its enemies by singing to them, and then I guess they just can't handle it somehow and die. I don't really know because my siblings would never let me borrow their DS to play Pokemon, so I don't know anything that happens in that game other than like some tree guy tries to talk to you and gives you Pokemon, so I don't know. But anyhow, I stumbled upon this song and it was terrifying. Like, just hear it. Yeah, tell me right now that does not sound like some creepy doll in a horror film trying to kill you, because it does. When you reach the end, slip stitch your half double crochets together and fasten off your project. Now we're going to make a drawstring for the waistband, so chain a really large amount until it wraps around your skirt, and you're going to be able to tie it a little bit. There's not really a set number, just whatever you think is right. And also my cat is here. How great, how cute, how adorable, how wonderful, how splendid. Please compliment my cat, or else bad things might happen. Now it's time to weave this chain in and out of the skirt, which you can do either by hand or with a crochet hook, or what I personally like to do is with a yarn needle. Speaking of yarn needles, here I am petting around for mine because I just taken it out and it's disappeared, so I have no idea where it's went. So if you'd like to help me look, you can join me in this fun game of Where's My Yarn Needle? Make your guesses, folks, because here it is in 3, 2, 1, and oh! There it was, underneath my cat's foot. How great. You know, I blame you for this because earlier I told you to compliment my cat and I bet you didn't. I bet you didn't, so this is all your fault. Moving on, if you're choosing to use a needle like me, put your chain through, and then you want to find the back of your project, flip it over to find the center, because you want a little bit of a gap between each of the drawstrings, and then insert your needle in and just weave your chain in and out. I believe this is called the running stitch, but I am not too sure. In terms of spacing, I spaced each stitch about every 3 rows apart from each other. Circling back to earlier, the amount of crochet hooks and sewing needles, yarn needles, scissors, seam rippers that I've left in my bed because I've been crocheting in it and I set it down and lose it is honestly concerning, because I look for it and then I can't find it and then I'm like, okay, oh well, and then usually I just forget about it and I go to bed. I go to bed sleeping with these dangerous sharp objects sleeping right next to me, and it's honestly a miracle that I haven't gotten stabbed or impaled myself yet. When you get to the front, make sure you leave about 6 rows apart between each of the last 2 stitches. Also make sure to cut off your ends and weave them in. So I didn't really do that for the drawstrings, I just kind of cut them and hoped for the best. And wow, nice bow! And that's what your completed skirt will look like, so now you can block it, and it's montage time. Wow, look how much fun I'm having frolicking with it in the wind. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I make other tutorials where I try to give interesting voiceovers like this, So I hope you enjoyed.